At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
At Room to Room, there's no need to wait. Black Friday deals are going on now.
Leather swivel chairs, only $4.99. Available in 3 color options. Perfect for dining, living, or an accent chair.
Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like your home.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Good evening and happy Thursday across North Mississippi. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor here for Mississippi Live Weather at 5. Joined alongside our chief meteorologist Matt Laupon here in just a moment. What we're tracking this evening, well, is a little bit of a drier end to the day compared to what we had earlier on. Those isolated chances still in the forecast, but not going to be nearly as widespread. We're also tracking some scattered chances into our Friday, potentially impacting a few of those football games as well. But like I mentioned, Matt is out in the field joining us live from Ballard Park. The lighting at Ballard Park taking place this evening. He'll have an update on that forecast. What exactly he's seeing? Well, as of right now, rain chances going to be more isolated, only around 20% coverage there by 6 p.m. And we really have that up around the Tennessee state line, not all the way in Tupelo, thankfully. 71 degrees by 6, cooling off through the night back into the low 60s for the start of our Friday. Finally at the end of the week, so that is fantastic news. But as we bring Matt in here, Matt, it's already a good time happening tonight over there in Ballard Park. Just what exactly are conditions looking like? And honestly, temperature-wise, looks good. It's just the rain chances we're watching, right?
We're glad it wasn't about, 1 o'clock today when the bottom fell out near this location. A lot of other spots here across North Mississippi with that one little line that moved through. Yeah, I'm here at Ballard Park, the lighting of, ultimately the park itself with more than 10,000 lights, what we're looking forward to. And behind me there, those risers are empty now, but the choir and folks from Parkway Elementary across the street there are going to be doing the performance coming up here in just a little bit as well. This has been a tradition here in the Tupelo area dating back 30 years or so. So it's something that in a lot of ways just kind of one of those things that says, hey, the holidays are here. And so it's a good community event where everyone can kind of gather around and have a great time. So we're looking forward to that. Look forward to seeing all the lights here and just talking with folks in a few minutes. Now, of course, as you mentioned, the rain chance is one thing that we're watching. The sky's clearly cloudy, but not much rain falling from these kind of clouds, Gabe, as we're looking at Mississippi Live Weather Radar here in a moment. You'll show that, obviously. But we'll look ahead at tomorrow when the rain chances are a lot better here in a couple of minutes. Live in Ballard Park, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon. We'll have that full forecast coming up here from the park in a couple of minutes.
Matt, thank you so much, and we'll see you back here just shortly. Bringing it back here to the Room to Room Weather Center. Again, getting a look outside. It's much more beautiful conditions than what we had earlier on today. That line of storms, and yeah, it was storms. A few rumbles of thunder were encompassed within that rainfall. 73 degrees now, though, with much drier forecast than what we had earlier on. Kosciuszko and Itala County looking like a beautiful forecast there. Always love highlighting the church down there just to show that, hey, God is good for this great forecast, giving us exactly what we need, but also great timing clearing out those showers for the lighting this evening. Now, Tupelo, whether you're at Ballard Park or not, a beautiful night out there as well. Still a very saturated environment as it is 66 degrees, dew point right around that same margin. So it's not going to be clearing out any of that moisture anytime soon. We are still primed heading into our Friday for the potential some fog, but also the potential for a little bit more of that redevelopment of showers and storms for the latter part of our Friday especially. Where we sit on Mississippi Live Weather Radar is a little bit of showers out there towards Tunica County on the northwest side of our viewing area. Now the unfortunate part about it is our Memphis radar site is down, so we can't go get a more high definition look out there in Tunica County, but we can tell that at least on an elevated format that some showers are continuing to work their way through on the northern side of Highway 61 in northwest Mississippi. That's going to inch closer to DeSoto County. That's where that 20% chance is lingering in the forecast. The rest of us, a much drier forecast, and as we bring it in here to the Tupelo area, you can definitely see not seeing a drop of rainfall. This is clear air mode, so that's that green that's showing up. But if you're looking to head out towards Ballard Park or any of those plans in Tupelo, looking good to go, and we highly recommend you go see those lights because they are breathtaking. I know Matt's going to have some great sights and sounds later on this evening, so excited to see that take place, but definitely grateful this was not a couple of hours ago. Looking at those rainfall totals, I went to Boonville for a school visit with my wife today. 3/4 of an inch right there in Prentiss County. Towards Benton County, 2.5 inches. That's just A pretty rainy day, all things considered. Tupelo earlier on, half of an inch. And as we work our way up there towards DeSoto County, half of an inch as well. Now, more chances moving through that northwest Mississippi, eastern Arkansas area. That's going to inch closer into our neck of the woods overnight, but really ramping up as we get towards our Friday. And that's where we expect rain chances to climb by the time we get into our Friday, especially by our Friday afternoon. Zooming things out, our surface analysis continues to watch this frontal system out there towards the Oklahoma and Texas area. That's where we could see the potential for some inclement weather out there in Dallas, seeing a few severe thunderstorm warnings already getting issued. Fortunately for us, no severe weather is expected as of now, and we really don't expect it to be because that energy not overly high. Maybe the potential of a strong thunderstorm, but I don't think we get over that severe weather threshold, at least not with how the environment's looking right now. But that warm front lifting more towards the north, taking a lot of these rain chances with it. Our next best bet is going to be along this cold front as we push further into our Friday. As you take a look right here on Futurecast, we're continuing to see those showers develop in Dallas and Waco, Texas, moving across the state line and into Arkansas and Louisiana closer to about 9 and 10 o'clock. As we get into those overnight hours, once again, that frontal system just inching across that central southern portion of the United States. That's how we're going to call it today. 3 a.m. right there in Oklahoma City, and then moving closer to our area by Friday morning. Now, what you do see is that merges with another cold front up there towards the north. That cold front going to overtake a lot of this moisture, and that's going to be our driver moving into our Friday afternoon. But what's left of that system giving us a potential of a few isolated showers by our Friday morning. Again, those chances aren't overly high, but maybe a few heavy downpours out there in Senatobia and Tate County and all the way up there towards Memphis and DeSoto County. That's where the rain chances begin, but all throughout the day, 10 to 20% for that early morning hour. But by the time we get towards the afternoon, rain chances start to ramp up once again, 30 to potentially 40% getting into those overnight hours, and the potential to even go higher than that as we get into the start of our Saturday before rain chances clear out for a great looking weekend. That's what we'll be talking in more detail about here in the next 60. Of course, Matt going to have that forecast live from Ballard Park. So excited to see those Christmas lights light up within the next hour. And of course, we're excited to see how that forecast shapes up for the next 24 hours into our playoff games, but really into our weekend forecasts. It's going to be a busy one, but a good one here in North Mississippi. So we'll see you back here in the next 60 live from the Room to Room Weather Center for Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, welcome back into the Room to Room Weather Center. Again, we are tracking a beautiful evening, a drier evening for most, but still a cloudy one at that. 66 degrees there in Tupelo. And Tupelo, the place to be tonight, as we do have the lighting at Ballard Park. Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupont joining us live from Ballard Park, showing us what's the calm before the lights. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it this evening, but also tracking what's left of that moisture in the area and how those rain chances ramp up into our Friday. Matt, take it away with the latest on that forecast.
I think maybe you mean the calm before the stampede. You know, this is one of those events that every single year people in Tupelo get excited for. It's the lighting of Ballard Park. You can see some of the lights on, but those are not. None of the Christmas lights. More than 10,000 total that the Parks and Rec folks put out here. And it's just one of those things, maybe one of those signals that we're entering the holiday season. A few vendors out here hoping to show up and have fun with the crowds as well. But, you know, it's going to be a great time. It kicks off at 6 p.m. So, yeah, you still have time to come down here if you're in the Tupelo area and check it out. The choir from Parkway as they do every year, going to kind of kick things off there. We're excited about that. And again, it's just a great holiday experience. And let's be clear, the weather could not be more spectacular as far as it's concerned, because while we had some rainfall earlier today, that is in the rearview mirror, and we are looking good from here on out. As we check out the latest on those conditions. Oops, I think I took it all the way back to the beginning there, Gabe. So give me a moment while you get me onto the right one. There are 2 play buttons, and I hit the wrong play button. And Gabe's going to click the right one for me, and I'll get it from there. So as you'll note there, coming up with, again, mostly clear skies at the lower levels, but 66, that temperature at this instant. Our winds remain relatively light. We're 66 right now in New Albany, coming in 66 in Tupelo. But obviously the clouds, the murkiness, the dampness, that is absolutely there. And while I am in dress shoes, because I had some other stuff going on earlier on today, highly recommend maybe some... Honestly, I haven't seen many muddy spots, but you know that the grass tends to kind of clog up with this as well. So if you're going to be on that, maybe some shoes that can withstand a little bit of moisture. It's damp, but we're in good shape. Those temperatures going through the 70s as we go into this evening. You see 71 degrees as you look towards 6 p.m., 68 by 8, and 65 as you look by 10. Under, again, cloudy skies, maybe an occasional sprinkle, but mostly dry conditions. We're on the really wide shot here for a moment, kind of laying out the players. And as you'll note, we have, again, this system that's back there into Texas. That is largely our big weather story here. Gabe will zoom that in for you a little bit, looking back there toward Oklahoma and that system as it's kind of moving toward us. This has, from time to time, had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings you can see right along that front there, and a lot of rainfall into the Dallas area. How much is this is still just rainfall, or perhaps maybe some stronger storms when it arrives here? That remains one of the questions, but I think most of the storms should be below severe limits by the time they get here late into tomorrow. As we check out the latest on the closer scans here, as Gabe talked about at the beginning of the show, just clear air returns showing up on Mississippi Live Weather Radar at this instant on what is hopefully for most of us going to be dry for the next couple of hours. You can see Futurecast here looking at those conditions. I got to kind of move something on the screen kind of out of the way for a moment. And you'll notice that we have, 7. I hit it again, Gabe. Man, don't give me any tools there. I'll hit the space bar from now on. I promise. Gabe's going to get mad at me. Okay. Showing into this evening, mostly dry conditions, as you can see, through 10 p.m. or so, with, again, maybe a rogue sprinkle or two, but even on our Futurecast here, our HRRR model, we're mostly dry as we head into this evening and later on into tonight. As we go throughout the day tomorrow, the rain chances will increase, but early tomorrow morning, you can see we're at 5 a.m., we're 6 a.m. in the morning. We do have some of those starting to show up there in the northwest portion of the state. The first signs of that next storm system getting closer to us. Low 60s. I mean, come on. That's high temperature territory for this time of year. We're low 60s for highs as we head toward, lows tomorrow morning. And that should, again, be high temperature territory. That's why my brain won't kick in completely on that. As you'll note here, going into the day, our IMPC forecast there has that rain chance increasing by late in the day. So while we could have a couple rogue showers as you're dropping kids off from school, much more likely to have some rainfall as we head into the afternoon and maybe even evening there. So Futurecast, again, spotty showers there initially in the morning, 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, but a greater quantity starting to pop up by around noontime. But note, look at the color table there. These are mainly green. These are just mainly showers, and they remain pretty spotty in nature. They do increase in coverage as we head towards, say, 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I think our peak chance is going to be tomorrow evening as kind of the main wave of the system arrives. But still, even at 6 p.m., a couple isolated storms out there, Oxford, back toward New Albany, a few back toward the Golden Triangle as well. So we are hopeful that these football games for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week are okay, and hoping that's the case in West Point, but I wouldn't be shocked if we have some showers and thunderstorms to contend with there. So temperatures, we're looking at around 74 degrees in Tupelo for the high tomorrow. Normal this time of year, low 60s. So 10 to almost 15 degrees above normal for a lot of spots. 80 back there for Greenville, 78 right for that temperature out in the Cleveland area. So pregame forecast again, 69 there. While the temperatures remain relatively mild for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott and Langston a lot, we do not anticipate that the rainfall remains out of it. Rain chances will ratchet up, and there will be some issues with potentially some rainfall causing some delays in those games. We're hoping that's not the case where we have lightning, but lightning is a possibility out of this general setup that we're going to have. As you'll note here, now we're looking at around 8:30 p.m. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms there. And yes, there will be some thunderstorms mixing in. I'm going to bring this a little closer. I have to shrink my size on my screen so that I can see everything I need to see on there. Let me cover up my face. There we go. That's perfect. Don't need to see that. At least I don't need to see that. But notice how a few of these thunderstorms, they do still remain fairly isolated. And some of these, I think, have just enough there that 1 or 2 hailstones are going to be possible out of the strongest of these. Maybe a couple strong wind gusts. This is unlikely to be a tornado threat based on where we are as far as moisture is concerned. In saying that, well, I'm going to have a back and forth with Gabe, but we'll talk about that coming up here before the end of this broadcast as we kind of discuss what tomorrow's storm chances look like. But you can see here, we're now looking at 1:30 in the morning. So this is beyond midnight, beyond the conclusion of some of those games. Again, thunderstorms, and we are going to potentially have maybe a couple of hailstones out of the strongest of those. And they do progress southeastward. We're making back toward Louisville. This is 3:30 in the morning or so on early Saturday morning. But we expect the majority of that activity out of here before you wake up early Saturday, at least based on current timing. And while isolated showers remain possible on Saturday, it's slightly less humid air behind this front that will start shoving some of the, we've had some dense fog advisories recently, right? Because of all the moisture out there. Probably could have one again tonight. That's less likely as we go into the latter part of the weekend because of that front pushing the moisture out of here. Dry for the most part as we progress throughout your Saturday there and even in the latter part of the day. And cooler behind that, you can see we're back into the 50s. Again, low temperatures tomorrow morning, we're at 60s, and I'd say same thing probably early Saturday morning, the drier air arriving as we go through the day. So Saturday's highs, we're mid-70s still out there. We show for Tupelo, about 76 degrees in Eupora and Starkville, 75 in Amory, but 60s in northwest Mississippi out there toward around Tunica, 67 for South Haven. That is that drier and cooler air starting to head in. Okay, so our SEC football forecast presented by Carl Hogan Toyota. Only one area SEC team in the mix. That's Alabama. Kickoff of that game at 1 p.m. And again, those winds will be a little bit breezy. I hope the kicking game's not an issue in this for Alabama's sake. We'll see how that ends up going. Probably going to be a blowout. But if it is, those winds, a little bit of a wind shift there, but certainly going to be breezy. And honestly, in a lot of ways, a perfect day to be out there at the stadium. So 74 tomorrow, though, and not a perfect day by the latter part where rain chances do ratchet up into the evening and including some of those games up around 40 to 50% on that rain coverage for tomorrow with, still probably even at 10 p.m. mid-60s out there. That 7-day forecast has those temperatures remaining relatively warm even into and through the extended forecast there. We're 74 degrees through again, your Saturday, but 69 on Sunday. So a little bit cooler, but it's not just a big blast of colder air. As you'll notice, you can always kind of look at the low temperatures for that idea on how that's going to end up going. And low temperatures, as we look toward the first of next week, they go back up. And that is moisture returning. Moisture that eventually will yield more rain and storm chances. At this point here, we're thinking it's probably going to be drying out, though, by middle part of the week and especially late in the week, meaning your Thanksgiving forecast probably ends up relatively dry. And again, Thanksgiving, one of those signs, if you haven't put up the Christmas tree, I think a lot of folks have, that maybe it's about time to do that. But one of those signs also here at Ballard Park, as we are getting ready for the lighting here, that does all the festivities kick off at 6 o'clock. And usually it's around 6:20, 6:30 that they light all those lights. And if you're not able to make it out here, of course, we'll be saying hi to all the folks out here if you come on by this evening. But it'll be lit throughout the holiday season. And again, something that not just driving by in Gloucester, but, coming on in the park is fun to enjoy. Okay, I want to bring in our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, here for a moment. If you'll kind of pop on the screen. I know we have that pink behind you, so I'll advance it beyond that so we have something a little prettier. Let's talk about some storm chances here for a moment. Obviously, we have storms tomorrow evening as a possibility. You've looked at Cape and some of the other instability factors. Do we have enough instability there for severe storms in your mind, looking at what you've looked at with the most recent stuff in the last few minutes?
No. In summary, there was instability, but it's trending down over the last few model runs. And that's what I was kind of assessing behind the scenes, was run to run, what we're seeing, and things are trending in the right direction, meaning not expecting severe weather, but we expect that forecast to shift. We saw it with the frontal boundary today. You want to talk about flip-flopping on positioning and the impacts, and it ended up a little bit overproducing than what models were even expecting with that. So I'm saying no with a pause. Yes, I'm saying no with the pause for a reason.
Because again, today overproduced a little bit, right?
Exactly.
So not overproduced, but overperformed. And so with that in mind, that's when I see HRRR. I'm trying to figure out, on our Futurecast, if that's an overreaction to where things stand. I would say maybe a couple isolated, but again, when we start talking about that, what are dew points tomorrow? Somewhere low to mid 60s.
Yeah, about similar to what we have right now. Not really much change.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like if we pumped in a bunch of moisture on top of this, yeah, severe weather, maybe even, tornadoes, that kind of stuff. But that just doesn't look like the case with this. Agreed?
Agreed. And you also have, prefrontal development that'll eat at that energy and kind of stabilize us out ever so slightly. And here this time of year, you kind of need the perfect setup to get that severe weather to take place, because you're not exactly in spring where that moisture is returning and the heat's building back up. No, we're in the latter part of fall, and that likelihood takes a little bit more ingredients than usually what we experience in spring. So that's what, some of that prefrontal development, a little bit reassuring when we're talking about severe weather potential, because hopefully that eats at that energy, that little bit we do have, and maybe leaves us with a, stormy night, but not severe night.
Only so much fuel to go around. If we end up with elevated storms, that's why I kept talking about maybe that hail chance there. There's not a lot of indications on our projections that there will be much hail, but a lot of times when we get those overnight, threats like this, fringe of the season, we get sometimes a little bit of hail with that. So I just wouldn't rule that out. But I think thankfully we're not talking severe weather outbreak by any stretch of the imagination. And even looking at the extended forecast, you're looking toward Thanksgiving, things looking pretty dry and getting cooler, obviously, by then, right?
I think we can bring back the word cold by next week. And that's a good thing, because I've had sweatshirts staring at me saying, Gabe, why'd you get me out? Because I had to put them right back up as soon as we got them out, because things warmed up. So finally trending a little bit colder, and we're going to enjoy that this holiday season while we're stuffing our face with some turkey. But Matt, I know
when you say sweatshirts, I had sweaty shirt yesterday. Doing the bike ride we're doing. So I get it. I mean, you're not supposed to be sweating this time of year. So
nope.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I know it's going to be fun out there, and at least temperatures are comfortable. You definitely don't want to be too cold whenever you're watching those lights.
No, they're perfect. It's almost room temperature room out here. Which is a joke from. I didn't think about that. No, that's a joke from the show Community that was on NBC for a long time. They talked about the room temperature room. There's an actual room, and that temperature is what defines room temperature. Anyway, we always joke that when it's outside and it's like it's perfect, it's room temperature room. And that's what it is. This is about as nice as you're going to get.
For sure, and it's going to be a literal lit night. Woo!
Get lit. Okay, anyway. With that, I think it's time for us to wrap.
Hey, we're just ready. We're ready for the lighting, and we're going to have a live look coming up at 6, right, as that lighting does take place?
Yep.
Well, perfect.
Absolutely, and we'll have your forecast as well coming in as well.
Amazing. Well, Matt, thank you so much, and you have fun out there. Enjoy the darkness before that light really kicks up. It's going to be a good time, and we're excited to see it. So we'll see you back here in just a couple minutes, about a half hour.
Yep.
All right, well, bringing it back here to the Room to Room Weather Center. Going to wrap up this broadcast. Of course, if you have not done so, go ahead and download that Mississippi Live Weather app. It's going to jump to the other side of the screen, so bear with me. Will it? I think I clicked off the screen. Hold up, I think we can actually do a smooth little transition. There we go. All right, sweet. Let me make sure, yeah, Mike is still showing up. Okay, sweet. I said smooth, and that was not smooth whatsoever, but go ahead and download that Mississippi Live Weather app today. Again, available on iOS and Android for free. Make sure you have that latest update if you do have it, and of course, you can tune in to the lighting at Ballard Park here on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 p.m. That is going to be our next broadcast, and Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon will have the latest on that forecast, the live preview of that lighting, and what to expect for those game days tomorrow. Saturday college football forecast and your weekend forecast in its entirety coming up at 6 o'clock, and next broadcast at 10. We'll walk through the latest on those rain chances. And of course, our morning show. Never miss out on that. Have that cup of coffee in hand with meteorologist Maggie McCauley as you track that day ahead. And Friday, trust me, you're going to want to tune in because it's an action-packed day moving forward with football and some storms.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy